Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to look at a very integral part of Moodle, which is the gradebook. Now when you start creating a course or when you log into Moodle, we're going to see the different parts of it. The very first thing for you to change is the gradebook. I would recommend that. Of course, you can defer that. You can say, you know what, I'll do this during the course or at the end of it or towards the end of it, but it's advisable, please do the gradebook as soon as you possibly can. I'm going to take a look at how the gradebook is going to be configured, etc., etc. Let's jump right into it. The very first thing we're going to see when you go to your Moodle site is what you see over there. You go to learn.scaletocash.com. That's where you can be able to see where you can log into the Moodle. Again, if you don't know how to get there, please go back to the previous videos. You'll be able to see exactly where I got that from. All right, so when you are there on that page, you are going to look at the username and the password. I created an account called Tutor, and the password is there. This is a temporary account just for the purpose of teaching this. I'm going to click login. Since this is my computer, I can remember this, but I prefer not to. So I click login. Now, when you log in to Moodle as a teacher, I will have already created a course for you, and you will already have access to that course. So you're not going to be able to access anything unless I create an account, a course for you, and give you access to it. Now, the very first page you'll go to is the dashboard. I went through this already in the previous video. I'm not going to go over this all this again. We're going to go to the site home. If you have never accessed this before, click on the site home, and you'll be able to see the course which you have access to. So you'll see it there under my courses. And for the purposes of this lesson, I decided that I create a course which can be relevant to our day to day. For example, we are suffering in the corona lockdown, and so I said let's create a sample course on maybe what is corona, how do we mitigate it, how do we protect ourselves against it, etc., etc. So you're going to use this to create a sample course, but you can extrapolate the steps that I'm using here to make your own course much better. Let's dive right into it. All right, just click on Coronavirus Safety. That is the course under my courses. When you click on that, you'll get to see the different aspects of it. As I went through the other time, you can look at in the previous video, you see the participants, etc., etc. But what we are interested in here is the gradebook, which you click under grades, you will find it there. Alternatively, you can go to the gear button here, you click on that, and then you go to gradebook setup. It will take you to the very same place. Now, when you're in the gradebook, you're going to see the first page as it's loading here. You see where you can view the grades of your students and all that here. So the very first tab over here is view the grades. You click on that, you'll be able to see the grades of all your students. If you have students who have enrolled to your course, you should see the grades listed down in the view tab. Now in the view tab, as you can see that it's loaded now, you can just see them. It will be arranged by first name, email address, then the course total. That's a very easy way to see. You can go to grade history, outcomes reports, etc., etc. You'll be able to look through these in your own free time. For now, we are interested in the setup. How do you set up the gradebook? So you click on the setup, that link, that tab that says setup, and then we'll be able to see, we are right there now. You scroll down, you see the coronavirus safety course. This is the course that has been registered to you. You're able to play around with its setup. Now, for purposes of this exercise, I've created different gradings. I'm going to have quizzes, I'm going to have tests and exams, I'm going to have research, and I'm going to have blogs. Now, all these will carry different marks, which will total to 100%. And now, I want to say here that please use the grading system that you already have for your course. I know different courses have different grading systems. Like, there's Geography 1 carries this marks, Geography 2, blah, 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 etc., etc. Now, we're going to see also, if you're going to give tests, how will those be weighted, etc., etc. So let's take a look here. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is to add the category. Now, categories are very important. For example, if you're going to give multiple quizzes, you're going to give multiple tests, you can just categorize them so that you put the test under a certain category. Once you click on that, it will ask you what's the category name. As I said, my first is going to be quizzes. Quizzes. Let's just say quiz. All right. Now, the aggregation is important. You can decide and say, if you know that your quizzes are going to be, they'll all have a certain amount of marks. For example, mine, I said, should be 30%. So each of your quiz, you're going to mark it over 30%. So you're going to get, if you have given like 10 quizzes, you're going to get the mean of them. The mean, this one means you add all of them and divide it by the total number of the quizzes that you've made. Now, we can use mean of grades here, so that if maybe someone gets 10 in one, 20 in the other, 30 in the other one, to total it and divide it by the number of quizzes that the person got. So you're going to leave this and the default as value, but of course you can always play around with it. Just make sure you know what you're doing here, but leave it as value because we're going to be calculating this. For those who want to know the difference between value and the others, please, you have to do a bit of research on that. Now, the maximum grade, I said that we are going to be measuring our quizzes over 30%. So you write it there. What's the minimum grade that a person can get in a quiz? It's normally 0. If you want to, you can say, yeah, it's going to be 0. Now, you'll notice these question marks on the left and on the right, some places. If you're lost, click on that. It will give you some bit of information. Like if you want to hide this grade from students, you don't want them to see the grades which the marks have gotten. If ticked, grades are hidden from students. You get that? So you just tick on that, and students will not be able to see the grades of their quiz. If it's locked, which means it cannot be updated. But if maybe, for example, someone has, if you lock it, no one can update it. If someone passes again and all that, it will not be updated. Weight adjusted, this is if you want to reset the weight of the item. This is automatically calculated, so just leave it as it is for now. All right, if you want to adjust the weight, you can tick there and then you put the weight value over there. So we're going to save this. There are more which you can see, but this is enough for now. Just click on save changes, and then the category quiz appears over here. Now you see this, it says it is quiz, and the weight is 100% and it totals to 30. So the cost total is currently 30, but we're going to add the other categories so that we manage to get up to 100. So the next item I'm going to add is tests. All right. Or if you say, let's say exams, if you're going to do exams, for example, maybe you say a student will do 3 exams in the year. Then you say, I want it to be the mean of the exams. If one gets 50 in one, 100 in another, etc., etc., you get the mean of the exams. Now you go to the total. Here we're going to say the exams is going to be 50%, for example. Remember, it must total up to 100 at the end of the day. And then we have 2 more. One is research. Research. So we're going to say add a new category. Add category. Then you type here research, and you say we are going to make this the mean of grades. And category total, we're going to say research should carry 10%, for example. And then you say save changes. And then finally, we're going to put here, the last one which we have is category blog. You know, this you're also allowed to put up blogs here. You can say, I want people to start a discussion on this topic, and the fellow students should respond to the blog. So you monitor what they're discussing and you give them a mark for that. That's another interesting thing. Oops, I forgot to put the blog total. So you can go back if you forgot something. You can go back, for example, in the blog. You see it's 100 here, but you need to change it to 10. Otherwise, your cost total reaches 190. So you click on edit up here, edit the settings. When you click on edit settings, then you get back here, you go in the category total, that should be 10%. So the blogs will be marked out of 10. you save changes. Oh, wonderful. So now this is what your gradebook looks like. You'll find that the quiz, the value is 30. These weights are automatically calculated. You can decide to change the weight if you want. Just tick there and type a new weight, but you don't need to. Just leave it as it is. And the exams is that, and research is 10. The blog is 10. Yeah, so you have already done with your setup of the first setup page of the gradebook. You click Save Changes after you've finished everything. Now, there's another thing which you can play about with, the scales. I'm not going to go through this because different schools and different institutions have different scales that you can use. You can define it there. You can say, I want to use this kind of scales. No, a scale, for example, someone has failed, someone has passed, someone has maybe passed on merit. Okay, you can put those scales there. You can say good, bad, average, etc., etc. You can add all those there. It's possible for you to put scales there. Now, the next one, you're going to look at the letters. Letters, these are, for example, if someone has got an A, someone has got an A plus, B, etc., etc., you can actually edit it here. You know, in our Ugandan system, we have also, someone has got a D, someone has got a C, is it C? Then C1, I'm forgetting those things, but yes, you can categorize them here. You say if someone gets above 60 something, that's a C3. If someone gets maybe above 70, that's a D2. D1 is above maybe 75 or 80. Depends on what scales you are going to be using. I see different universities use also different scales. For example, someone can get an A or something like that, etc., etc. You define them in the letters right here. So you scroll down and you see in here it has been categorized that from 93 up to 100, this person has gotten an A. From 90 to 92, someone has gotten an A minus. So this is an American system. You can adjust it as you want it to be. Just click down here on Edit Grade Letters, for example, and then you can be able to edit your grade letters. What do you want B to be? Like, for example, you can say override site defaults for now, because these are the defaults of the website, the way I have set them. You can say A, maybe someone from, let's see, if we are to use our Ugandan systems, we can decide to actually say D1. If someone gets, please adjust as you set it. D1, someone from maybe 80 and above gets a D1. If it's a D2, this should be from 75 perhaps. All right, then a C3, this should be from 65 to 75. Remember, you are doing this according to the scales that you have. And so and then you can say, if you want to say a C4, this is someone who has from maybe 50 and above, 50 and above. Anyway, that gets more complicated. Let's say if you want to say a pass, someone who has got from 40 to 50. Please remember, these are not the scales that is in Uganda. Adjust it accordingly, and you'll be able to make sure your grades are showing the way you want it to be. All right, and then for the purposes of this one, we can say if someone has an F9, then that is from 0, let's say maybe 30 to 40 or 20, I don't know. It depends on your scales really. And then if someone has a U, that's from 0 to 20. Now you can set this as you want it to be, and then here of course you can remove those grade letters. I'm sure you're not going to have you have to use all the grade letters here. You just put what you have, and that's what you go ahead with. So remove that 67, and then at the end of the day, remember to save the changes. So this will affect how our grades are awarded to your students in your course. If you put this at the beginning, and then you start putting up quizzes, etc., etc., the grades are already automatically calculated. You don't have to again go back and redo all the calculations. Now, another part of the gradebook which you were looking at is the import and the export. There is ability for you to import a gradebook if you want to. For example, if you have maybe created a gradebook offline somewhere, you can import it. You can import files which are comma separated values or text files. These are maybe Excel files, etc., etc. You can import them over here, but I'm sure most of you will not be doing that. And you can also export gradebooks. You can export them to Excel. You can export it to a plain text. Once you're finished with this, if you want to print out your gradebooks, for example, you want to print it and put it on the notice board, you have the ability to export it and put it up on put it in Excel or whatever you want it in, whatever values you want it in, like comma separated values and other options like XML. We have also you'll find all the options that are available over there. So this concludes our gradebook video. Now, if you're going to set up the gradebook, please remember you set it up according to your syllabus. If you have a syllabus, you'll have tests, you'll have quizzes, etc., etc. Now, we're going to take a look at how we can be able to finish up with our course, with this course which I've started on the coronavirus. Please stay tuned for the next video that we're going to put up. God bless you. And if you have any questions, please don't fear to ask. Just call me up or send me a message. My phone number is down there, or contact me online. I'll be able to respond as soon as immediately. God bless you and thank you so much.